What is up, YouTube? And today I just want to talk about the 2x or the 4x event, as people are calling it, that is currently going on. So things have actually changed for this event. I talked about it in my previous video. You guys probably already know by this point, but basically the double drop event is now going to be 3 days long instead of 2. Even though it says ends in 2 days, it's going to be like 2 days and like 20 hours. So that's why it shows as 2 days. So an extra day to actually have more time to farm. On top of that, when you're actually farming during this event, you can actually have the choice to do double consumption, which will use 200 stability when you actually do a 10 battle, as you can see it changing down here. But you'll also get double the rewards, which makes it so that you can actually go through your stamina and your stability way quicker and not really have to worry about, staying on the game all day long. And even though it doesn't matter for most people that are very, very sweaty like myself, or are content creators, or play the game for a living like myself, basically for the regular person, it's going to be such a good change. And even for me, I've noticed that it's such a huge change. I started at 6,000 stamina today. You can see I'm already down to 800. And it's only been exactly 3 hours since the event started for me. So I basically went through 5,000 stamina. Although I did do some GP outposts and investigations, which is basically like 50 stabilizers in 3 hours. Now, of course, I am running fast team, so that's probably why. But compared to last event, you're just farming twice as fast while having another day to do the event. So you don't actually have to squeeze it all in within 2 days, which I think was pretty annoying to do, even for myself. So I can't imagine for people that are working like a 9 to 5. Now, I also wanted to make this video because there was actually like a lot of people talking on Discord and like Reddit saying how it's like bugged and the drops aren't happening correctly for thresholds. But however, you're going to see that the devs, not the devs, but the Discord moderators actually made an announcement and posted this picture, and it basically explains how the drops work for modules. So you're going to see that the base drop is 1 to 2. You're guaranteed 1 module to drop no matter what. And sometimes you'll have a chance to get an extra one for 2. And this will display as just the normal drops. It won't display as extra. Then when you check off the double stamina, it's the same exact thing. It just stacks on top. Makes sense because you're using double the stamina. So it's exactly the same. It doesn't display as extra either. Now, in terms of the event that's going on now, because the Blessing Galore is happening, you're going to see that the drop rate that is actually going to get doubled has the same exact drop rate as well. But this time it'll display as extra. And then the double stamina, which also gets doubled, which makes it 4x, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, same exact thing, and this will display as extra. Now you have to keep in mind that each of these drops, the base drop, the double stamina drop, the Blessing Galore drop, and then the double stamina Blessing Galore drop, will all have separate roles. So you can get like 1 base drop and then like 2 from the 2x. So you can get 3 total from just the base drop and then plus the 2x from it. For the double stamina, you can get 2, right? So it won't display as extra. And then you'll get 1 extra one from the double stamina. You'll only get 1 that shows as extra. So you have to keep that in mind when you're farming. And I think people didn't really understand this, so they made kind of like an announcement. So there's going to be situations where you're going to have a lot more of the regular drops and then not as many extra. And that's just a result of you getting way luckier on the base drop rather than the 2x drops. So you have to keep in mind there's basically 4 rolls that are going in when you get gear, when you complete thresholds right now. So, if it looks weird to you, just keep in mind, there's 4 separate rolls you're doing. RNG, yes, but, that's how it works in pretty much every single gacha game, I'd say. But regardless, I think it's a great event to cut down on the time that you need to actually complete the event, which makes it a great, great addition to the game. And wow, I just failed 2 in a row. That's pretty crazy. Now, I'm actually going to cancel this. I'll lose stamina, which kind of sucks. But the reason why I'm doing this is because, this checkbox here, which enables double consumption, because you can see it's part of the interface, something in me is telling me that they may add this in the future just for regular gameplay. And that's going to be absolutely amazing. I think just because, they basically edited the UI to include this means that they may just implement it into the game if people want to speed up their farming. Now, I don't know if this is the case for sure, but it definitely is a possibility now because, instead of it just happening with the event, you can see it's just part of the continuous battle interface, right? So for me personally, I really do hope they add this in, especially for shells. Even though for shells, it doesn't get affected by 2x, if they add this for shells as well, when we're farming stuff like, Rengo Kutsu, and even though I have a very, very fast team that's like a minute, for people that are struggling to farm this quickly because, they're just getting into it and using a team like this one here with like Vice, Sonya, Viper, and then like Diting or Lilium, I think it'd be a great, great way to speed up the farming without, having to nerf the boss to make it faster, right? So hopefully they do add this change. And, I've been very critical of this game in certain aspects, especially in terms of like events and monetization and stuff like that. But I have to give it to them. The devs have definitely been implementing QOL changes over the past few months. And I think this one for the 2x event is by far one of my favorite ones because, now, like when I first started the game and it was like my first 2x event, I was literally stuck in my chair, right? Basically doing this event forever because, you had 2 days only. My Doki Doki team was about 3 minutes. And I think that's like the standard for getting into like clears like this. If we look at recent clears, there's definitely going to be people that are doing like, look at this guy, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, like 4 minutes, right? So for people like this, even though you're in the late game and this doesn't really matter to you because you farm fast anyways, it's still half the time that you have to like spend on the game to farm, and you can do other stuff, play other games and stuff like that. And for these players like that are just getting into clearing Inferno and are not speed clearing it, I can't imagine how good this feels right now. So, regardless of what people think, oh, it should be like 6x, 8x, you can't, deny that this implementation of this, 4x, whatever it is, double stamina usage, even though it's technically not 4x, it's still 2x, just sped up, feels really good. And I think this is a thing that, I really wish was in other games as well, such as like Epic 7. And, maybe they will give us like this continuous battle with double stamina usage in the future for even, just regular farming outside of 2x events and even in shells as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, in terms of what you guys want to farm for this event, really comes down to your account progression. I actually talk about it in my previous video that I released right before this one, if you guys want to check it out. But I think, you can't really go wrong with anything, because, investigations are always good. Someone did mention in the comments that the EXP leveling up your characters will boost your base attack, and yes, he's correct. You definitely want to make sure you max out your DPS's levels, because your DPS benefits a lot from base attack. However, like the other base stats that you get from leveling in HP and defense won't really matter on your supports too much. So, in terms of EXP farming, investigation farming, just use it to star up your characters from 5 to 6 stars. And of course, when you star up your DPS, make sure you max them out ASAP because they get a lot of damage. And then GP Outpost, just farm it to get those prowess nodes activated for the extra stats. And for me personally, like I also have like a huge stockpile now of these. You can see I have like 150 of the green ones, mostly because I plan to lattice my Rahu. And the red ones, I do plan to lattice my Veronica. And because the next LD character is actually going to be dark, it's a good time to start farming the dark, mats as well. I probably will start farming this again later on into this 2x event just to have some saved up for the new character that comes out. So you guys might want to as well. Now in terms of modules, I talked about it in the previous video, but I don't really think it's worth farming anything below Hell 3 because you can't get Triple Matrix, and Triple Matrix is the biggest draw. So if you can't farm Hell 3, what you can do is just farm Investigation and GP Outpost. If you guys find that it's not really needed anymore to farm those for your current progression, you can just save your stabilizers. You don't have to really use them all, right? You can save them for the next 2x. It's going to happen in another month, and it's definitely going to happen with this 4x and double stamina usage and stuff like that again. And I can almost guarantee that it'll be 3 days as well. But yeah, pretty much it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys are farming. Just wanted to let you guys know that what I think about this 4x event. I think it's a great change. I didn't even expect it, honestly, but I'm very happy that it's in the game because like I said, I'm 3 hours into farming and I'm almost done with all the stamina that I saved up, and I can start getting into my stabilizers, which I usually have to do on the second day to actually get through them all. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.